Fred, how we doing? I agree with you. This is one of the best drawings you've done, and it's really nice to see progress. Sometimes you, we, work so hard, 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 and it doesn't feel like anything's changing. But I definitely see a lot of progress here, and it seems like you've gotten the furthest that you have in the past. And it's tough to kind of get on a certain teacher's train and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this under drawing thing. I'm going to really try to get good at this. And, there's an adjustment period. And because you've hung in there and, really worked at it, seems like some fruits developing here. So that's very cool. I couldn't agree with you more. So, taking a look at it under the microscope, let's see if we can kind of line this up a little bit truer. Yeah, I talked about this with somebody else, how sometimes the drawing can get a little askew, and and that's fine. But maybe I take the reference and straighten that out. How about that? I'll leave your drawing alone. I'll straighten her out. Okay. So I have so many critiques to get to, and so I'm going to keep it kind of short and sweet. Sometimes those are better instead of me long-windedly talking about something. Um, Top five things. Nose is not tall enough yet. We need to orchestrate the upper lip in its orientation to the nose a little more clearly. We need to put a little bit of a dark opening there in the mouth. We need to maybe drop the bottom of this lip a little further. We maybe need to close this gap. Not so much of the white of the eye is seen over there. Pretty nice up there. Usually I complain to everybody about that forehead area. I like how soft that is. That's very nice. See if we can soften up these eyebrows and here a little bit more. And as you're developing, I like this little Terminator line you're putting in here. Start developing a little more tone. And, it's like that line, we're trying to hold on to it for dear life, but it's supposed to be really soft. It's soft and dark. So see if you can hold on to that border, but make it much darker and much softer. If you really look at this area, which is supposed to be the light, it's still pretty dark, isn't it? So that's what I mean by dark and soft. That slight little boundary, I just kind of drew it in there just to make everybody see it. But, the difference between the light and the shadow is not a lot right there. And that's partially the reason for such a soft, dark edge. Seems like you're really, getting better at this whole soft thing, though. There's a nice range of sharp to soft in your drawing. So that's rather nice. Let me get rid of all of this stuff here. Maybe a little sharper and darker there, but I love that softness there. Very, very nice. Let's go in a little bit deeper with the mouth here. First off, what defines the boundary of the upper rim of the mouth? It's not a dark line, is it? But you'd be surprised how many people do that. They just can't help themselves. Like, well, I gotta make a boundary. Of course, I'm gonna go darker there. Oh, it's the wrong answer. It's the wrong answer. And it's just a much more delicate area, and it requires a lot of control. So just always be on the lookout for that whenever you're doing a portrait, because it's so easy to overdo that. And you really want to draw it. Who doesn't want to draw that white upper rim? But it's usually defined more as there's a tone there, and then you take an eraser and you kind of define the boundary more with an eraser than you do with a dark line. And it's just real delicate like that. So there's a couple of areas up here where they're more defined by an eraser than by a dark line. So let me erase this a little bit. Okay. So that being said, There's also this interesting area here where, and I look for this a lot on features, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but sometimes it sticks and sometimes it just goes right out the brain, when you're hearing from somebody. But everywhere in the features, I'm looking for marks like this, right? And if you look, that mouth right there, right before the teeth, right? You see that like darker, well, that's a terrible, okay, hold on. You see that dark right after the teeth like that. And then the teeth show up and they're kind of like that. So you see that little kind of exchange there? I know I kind of made it a little stronger than it should be, but it kind of just clues us into maybe what to do over there, because it's not easy what to do over there. So it's nice to take a dark and kind of show the edge of the lip as it touches up against the teeth. And that'll help you kind of space that, kind of get a little bit more of the look of the mouth. And then also similar kind of thing where you're really trying to create that sharp edge with a soft gradation. So where's the sharp edge? The sharp edge is at the corner of the lip, like that, right? So on the features, be on the lookout for a sharp, be on the lookout when you get in there into the nitty gritty, sharp at one edge, soft on the other, and then see how it trails out like that. A lot of those, you got to have those moves, and that's kind of what's going on here. Is it that lip gets the darkest there, and then slowly kind of trails out into something like that. I took out the nostrils, but the same goes for the nostrils, quite frankly. Let's look at the nose. The nose-mouth relationship. I just glossed over that. Oh yeah, fix this. It's a pretty good placement, like I said, I think it's one of your nicest drawings so far. But you know what? Always room for improvement. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to get a little better. Just a little bit. That's what I heard about an Olympic swimmer one time. They don't try to get amazing. They just try to get a little bit better each day. And over time, they become amazing. I never forgot that. I thought that was a good idea. Kind of gives you a realistic expectation of success, too. Everybody wants to be amazing right away. Just try to get a little better. A little better every day. So anyways, I see maybe the ball of that nose coming up a tiny touch. I see maybe just a little peak of light, that little triangle in there. See if you can get a little more out of that. The nose feels like it just doesn't have enough space right now. And so I'm kind of finagling my way around, trying to, give it a little more space to live. Feels like it's scrunched in there a little more than it should be. I don't know if that makes any sense, but... And then when you do develop the nostrils, make sure they're a little lower. Seems like they might be getting a little high, and that'll give you some height here that we need. Okay? So, and pay attention to, there's a little shape in here on the philtrum that I think everybody's going to struggle with a little bit. Pay attention, there's like a diamond shape. It's not even really a diamond. I loved geometry when I was in school, but I forgot what this shape is called. A quadrilateral? I don't know. But that shape right there, thinking about it as 4 straight lines, right? This. This gives you an orientation point of the center of the mouth, right? And then that goes into here, goes into here. okay? And it shows that that orientation of the mouth, this is pretty small, and this is pretty significant here. It's more like 80-20. So we come over here, pretty good. I mean, I think you're getting that 80-20 thing, but it's like we fall off the cliff a little bit here. Like this just kind of goes over here somewhere, but it needs to like start a little sooner and then come up just a tiny touch there. And then understand the orientation of that center on the lower lip, center point, and get in some of those darks in there, okay? So, and then we talked about just kind of maybe making a little bit less of the white of the eye there. Feels like this is a little bit too wide. Maybe a little shading would take care of that. And don't forget the highlights. Everybody loves highlights, right? You put a little glow in that eye, suddenly they're awake, they're alive. Okay, so see if you can clean that up. Develop the shadow a little more in here. Keep that boundary. And have a little fun with the hair. You've been working hard, making a really nice facial structure here. See if you can let loose and have a little bit of fun with the hair, okay? So have a great week, Fred, and I'll see you on Saturday.